I'm Eric Meyer, in for Matt Hubble, Naomi Lynn, and the Workday Kickoff, and we are joined right now by Etienne. Leon, welcome back to Lite 98.7.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, and I was just saying to Naomi before you stepped in the studio, Leon, I think we're both going to be starstruck. I loved watching you on Penn and Teller's Fool Us, and Naomi?
I would always watch you on America's Got Talent. I've always been a fan of the show, and to know that I'm actually meeting someone that was a part of it and a person that I actually followed on the show, I'm all like giddy over here.
That's awesome.
Leon, what has it been like to have that experience to go from Central New York to some of the largest stages in entertainment?
Oh, absolutely incredible. I mean, you go from literally, I used to when I was a kid drive by the Stanley and saying, one day I'm going to perform on that stage. And then you go from there to Radio City Music Hall, to being broadcast to 15, 20 million viewers live on NBC. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, there's no feeling in the world to describe it. Especially the first few times. Once you're standing on that stage and you get over the enormity of it and what's going to happen there that night, you then have to go to work, which is, the real scary part. She's like, I still got to pull this off. It's good enough to be standing here, but now you actually have to do it. And there's 5,000 people inside Radio City Music Hall alone. It's one of the biggest theaters in the world. And then, in that little thing that's staring at you right in front of your face, there's another 15 million people on the other side of that. So.
That's incredible. It seems that magic kind of ebbs and flows in where it is in popularity, and I think it's certainly on an upswing right now. Penn and Teller's Fool Us.
We are at one of the highest points for magic ever, I think, in history, because it's exactly what you said. It goes through, over the years, it goes through, all in the 80s, Copperfield was huge.
Yeah.
Then it kind of died out a little bit, and then Doug Henning kind of came in, Doug Henning was 70s, then Copperfield was 80s, and then there was nothing for a while, and then David Blaine came on the scene, and then Chris Angel, and now we're at an all-time high with all these reality shows and competition series. There's so much magic. Which, speaking of which, is perfect because this is National Magic Week.
Oh, yes. You were just telling us about that and it ties in with Harry Houdini.
Yeah, so Harry Houdini, one of the most famous magicians ever, if not the most, died 89 years ago on Halloween.
Wow.
Which, if you're a magician, if you're going to choose a day to die, you'd probably pick Halloween.
Right.
I mean, it's pretty good day to go. So the Society of American Magicians, every year, the week before Halloween, they declare that National Magic Week, and there's all these events around the country to commemorate that. And then, of course, on Halloween is the annual Houdini Seance, because Houdini was a big skeptic. And he also had a big ego, justified so, that was, if anybody's going to come back from the dead, it would be him. So every year they still hold, 89 years later, they still hold this seance to see if they can contact Houdini from the other side. But nothing has happened yet.
No, I know his wife did that for years.
For years, and she gave up, and then I believe some of the estate members of his estate took over, and now there's just a group of magicians that do it every year. As a matter of fact, Penn from Penn and Teller, who is the biggest skeptic in the world, still attends it because I think there's still some glimmer of hope, that we all have, as much, however skeptical you are.
So you mentioned Penn and Teller. You were on Fool Us and managed to fool them.
Yeah, that was not an easy task. I mean, when you, first of all, getting cast on the show, you go, yay! And then you go, oh crap!
How am I going to do this?
Because now you have to perform in front of Penn and Teller, who are the two of the most legendary magicians, and they are very smart and very switched on. They have created some of the most iconic tricks in the world, which I don't, there's secrets that I don't even know. So to be able to sit there and go, okay, now I got to try and fool them, it's not easy.
Right.
And the real thing is, I was very successful, but now they've asked to come back for season 3, and I don't know what I'm going to do.
I have to find
Central New York, you're going to have to wait and see what I decide.
So yeah, let's follow up on that, because you did fool them, and that means you got to perform on their Las Vegas stage at one of their shows, and you recently did that.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago we were at the Rio, and we went on and did the same exact trick that we did on the TV show, the skateboard trick, which we may or may not be doing December 18th and 19th at the Turning Stone, which we'll talk about in a minute. But we went there, spent the week in Las Vegas, performed with them. Before the show, we're just sitting in the green room, and Penn comes in and just hangs out and talks about all this crazy stuff. And then after the show, they're both there, and Teller and I and Rami talked about magic theory for about 2.5 hours. And Teller talked. Oh my God. Which is funny stories. The first time we were ever on stage with them, when we filmed the show, well, actually, that's a lie. We did Wizard Wars with them, too. But the second time we were on stage with them, we won, and Rami was just just off stage. She's walking so quiet. I go, "What's wrong with you?" She goes, "Teller just talked to me."
That means you've earned his respect, I think. We are talking with Leon Etienne on the Workday Kickoff on Lite 98.7. And Leon, every time we see you on national television, I've always noticed that you say, "I'm from Utica." Why is it important to you to kind of spread the gospel of Utica?
Well, you know what? There's a lot of great things here in Utica, and people don't really get to see it on a national scale. And what's funny is not only are there great businesses and great people, like, you know, like one of my sponsors I told Carbone Auto Group, all these great people in this area, but there's also a lot of great entertainers and artists and bands and all kinds of things. I mean, we have Munson Williams and the Stanley. I mean, brings in literally world-class shows that you would never see. But that's why it's important because you know, people try to misquote me and say, you know, they try to say, "Oh no, you're from Syracuse," because it's a bigger market and it's a more nationally recognized. But I always try to correct them. There's only been one time in the last 5 years that a press release went out that said Syracuse in it. So I don't know. This is where I'm from. So why wouldn't you want to say where you're from?
Right.
Absolutely right.
And because you're from Utica in this area, you've got a show coming up at Turning Stone. We love the fact that you come back to this area, even though you performed on stages in Las Vegas and Radio City. So,
well, the truth is, the reality TV shows don't work without fan support. And I bet I've never seen the demographics of the votes and stuff we got on the shows that you needed to vote on, but I bet the majority of them came from the Central New York area.
Yeah.
And just to come back and perform for those fans was incredible. I remember right after when we were at the Stanley, we sold out the Stanley right after we were on America's Got Talent, and they were literally knocking down the door saying, "Magic rocks, magic rocks."
That
so
is
we
awesome.
try to do an annual performance. So last year we sold out the Turning Stone in October, and they've added 2 shows this year. So the showroom at Turning Stone, December 18th and 19th, so it's the week before Christmas, 8 p.m. For tickets, you can go to 361-SHOW. That's 361-7469. And they're also available at all the Ticketmaster outlets. But from what I've told, they're selling very, very well, both shows. So you're going to want to get your tickets soon. I don't know how to. I wanted to say you buy them as a Christmas gift, but that doesn't work, does it? So maybe a pre-Christmas, pre-stocking stuff, or I don't know. But you know, everyone, you're going to have family in town. You're looking for something to do during those days. Come on out, see the show. It is Magic Rocks, our full theatrical illusion show, but there will be a little bit of a Christmas flair to it. We may or may not be making a special guest appear.
Ooh.
If you can pick up what I'm putting down right there.
Right.
But it's going to be so much fun, and Central New York has always been so good to us, and we can't wait to be back at the Turning Stone. And on top of all that, if you're taking all this in, it's probably going to be the last time for at least a little while before we're back in the area doing a show, because our tour schedule is just insane.
Right.
Leon Etienne with Leon and Rami and Magic Rocks coming to Turning Stone Resort Casino. Leon, thank you so much for the time this morning.
Thank you, guys. You rock.
It's the Workday Kickoff, 8:18 on Lite 98.7.